what do you do if you've signed that client and maybe it's somebody who's like, quote unquote, out of your league, and you're like, I want to make sure that I can help this client get to the next level. And maybe you're struggling with like, not only when it comes to the confidence, but the skills, like, what do I do now that I have them? How do I actually help them create great results so that more people can come to me and I can help them out? And that's what we're doing today, guys. We are going to break down a really powerful strategy to be able to attack this in a way where you're going to be able to help your clients get incredible results. They're going to be talking about you and they're going to keep coming back time and time again, along with their friends. So guys, welcome to Modern Leadership. I am Mark and this is
Teresa.
There we go. We help coaches develop the confidence and skills they need to make more impact and income than ever so you can have a new problem. And that new problem is being fully booked and trying to figure out what do I got to do next, which is probably start a group program. But guys, what we're doing today is we're doing some behind the scenes. We just started a new certification. We know that whenever somebody just gets started in something, it could be like a little nerve wracking. And being able to like have a process or have something to go through really does like make those nerves kind of like calm down. Because the truth is you have something to offer someone, especially if you've had a conversation with them and they've decided to take that next step. But it's just a matter of like being able to really help guide them through this and not make it about you, but really make it about them.
So that moment hits you when you're like, okay, it's happening. I have a client now. So my question is that once someone joins, like what's your mindset as a coach when someone says yes and the real work begins?
Yeah, I was going to say that. That's when the work begins, right? So many people think it's the time beforehand, right?
Yeah.
One of the philosophies that I always focus on is beginning with the end in mind. I mean, that is literally what we do as coaches is to be able to begin with the end in mind, right? So here's what I mean. When somebody signs up for a program, somebody signs up for a one-on-one, right? Somebody signs up for something, there is something that they want to get or achieve out of signing up with you. They didn't usually do it out of pity. They didn't usually do it because you were necessarily the hype person. They did it because they know that you can help them solve a problem, right? And so your job as a coach is to figure out what is it that your client actually wants? What is it your client wants, right? Because as a coach, what I see a lot of people do, and it doesn't really work really well, is they just jump into fixing and helping mode and not actually slowing down and going, okay, you just signed up. You just became a client of mine. I want to be so clear on what you want, not only for me, but also so that you can actually go there in your brain so we can figure out how to create that. Because if you get to the end of 6 months or a year and you haven't done this with someone, how are they going to know whether you've helped them or whether this has been successful or not?
Yeah.
Right? For me, it's always step one. Step one. I mean, we did in the certification, right? We have a clarity call that we actually take them through a process of identifying what they want, personal and professional based goals, because that's how we roll. But you have to get clear what those people want.
Why do you think so many coaches still feel uncertain after they've landed a client?
They make the coaching be about them, not about their clients. But this is how your brain works. Like if you're a part of our programs, you know that your brain is wired to keep you safe. And if it can convince you that you're not good enough, you haven't gone through enough training, etc., then you don't have to do it. Then you don't have to get uncomfortable, right? If you are going to think about yourself, you can think about it in terms of like, what have I learned? What have I grown through? What have I overcome? How has coaching helped me? Now, how do I take this and help my client do it in their way? Now, you do need to have some skills and some structure, but making sure that you're not making it about you, you're making it about your client is step number one.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So once we actually start to do the work with our clients, how do you prepare to create real transformation in a session?
Finding out what they really want, helping them come up with a plan, and then being there to guide them along the way to, number one, first off, keep them out of the whirlwind. Okay. What the whirlwind is just the normal everyday activities, right? Your work, your kids, exercising, those things that could very easily kind of like pull you out of doing the things that you want to do, right? Or achieving the goals you want to achieve. And being able to do that for your client is huge, but also making pivots along the way, leaning into what's working, doing it more, like adjusting what's not working, right? And basically being able to take them through like this flow, right? And so when you go through a flow like that, you can kind of see like what are the direction changes that you can go and really like help meet them where they're at. You're not meeting your clients where you're at. Where they're at, you're trying to meet them where you're at. So instead of me meeting a client where they're at, I'm talking the language, I'm sharing, hey, I think you should do this with your business. I think you should. And all of that is not helpful to your client because your client isn't where you are. So thinking about like, how do I meet my clients where they're at? If they're on step 1 and I'm on step 10, I shouldn't be talking about step 9 with them. You have to actually meet them where they're at. And of course, having conversations with them, coaching, right? Being able to guide them through this, that's how you identify, oh, this is where they're at. And this is what that next step could look like.
What helped you trust your coaching more and stop like over prepping or doubting yourself?
I'm not a proponent on practicing with people who pay you money. Like, I know that to some extent, like getting in front of people and having conversations with them and learning like coaching, that's great. But doing this for people, like when you're out there in the world and you're helping to make an impact in their life, you'd want to learn some things about coaching before you actually do that. You have a strategy or you have something that you follow. You've been practicing it. We do have what's called practice sessions, like in our certification, right? Which getting into an environment where you get to practice and get feedback so that you can feel the level of confidence that when you go out into the real world, you can take that with you.
Okay, so how do you support your clients without trying to fix them?
You understand the 2 types of challenges that people can go through. I see that a lot of people go into coaching either assuming what their clients' challenges are or just coaching one part of the challenge because that's the only thing or only tool that they have. And that's the only path that they know to go down, right? And so when you can understand those challenges, now you can actually know what to do to help them, right? So the first type of challenge is a technical challenge. This is somebody who just needs more information, needs more steps, needs more a meal plan, needs like the workouts to do, needs the how to start up a Facebook ad, needs the script, those kind of things. Now, what most people think is they think they have a technical challenge, but they don't. They actually have an adaptive challenge, which means they have to adapt. They have to think about it differently. They have to change their perspective. They have to get into here, find out what's keeping them stuck from actually doing those things. What type of challenge is your client going through? Do they have a technical challenge where they need like some of the steps? Or do they have an adaptive challenge where they need to like be coached and figure out the right mindset and perspective to be able to tap into it? So if you do have a client and they're maybe not getting the results they want, I want you to challenge yourself and go, have I been trying to deal with a wrong challenge? And so one of the things like when I start this certification, it's not just, hey, let me give you the details, right? Even though that's an important part of the process, it's the adaptive challenges that I know that they're going to be facing getting on the first call. Everybody's like, oh, I want to learn how to coach. And they join our certification because they think it's because of the technical challenges. And there are some technical challenges they're going to deal with. But really, I think about as the coach leading the group, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to give them all the tools for the technical, but I also need to manage the adaptive challenges that are going to be facing them on call 1. I want to start some great conversations. I want them to know that they belong here. I want them to feel like maybe it doesn't feel like it's the right room, but it's that exactly what makes it the right room. I want to acknowledge and appreciate them for when they raise their hand, when they reach out, when they unmute, when they share. I want to set up the environment so that it's a quote unquote psychologically safe environment where they feel like they can lean in, they can have conversations. That's what, for me, when I start a group program, that's my goal is, yes, do I want to teach? Absolutely. I like teaching. But at the same time, I want to create an environment that makes people feel like this is for me. I'm in the right place. Let me just keep leaning in. And then I can teach them all the technical stuff. So the adaptive challenges are things that can get in your client's way. When you overcome them, you clear the way so they can actually lean into the technical stuff.
Yeah, I love that. Community is so important.